Okay. All right. Hey, thank you. Welcome everyone to our special meeting, Thursday, April 21st for our Waynesboro Area School District Board of Directors. And so let's go ahead and get started with our pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, all right. And so let's go ahead and get a roll call because we have people at all kinds of different locations here tonight or this evening.
Mrs. Zimmerman. I can see you're there, but I'm not hearing you.
She is muted. She needs to unmute her microphone.
Mrs. Zimmerman, can you hear me? Gonna move on, and if you chime in, Mrs. Straight.
Here.
Dr. Royer. Dr. Royer. You there, Dr. Sternerheim? Mr. Marvin.
Here.
Mr. Hamburger.
Here.
Mrs. Miles.
Here.
Mrs. Fortney.
Here.
Mr. Pence.
Here.
Mr. Smith, sorry about that.
Here.
And again, Mrs. Zimmerman.
I am here.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And so can we have a motion approval of our agenda for this evening?
I so move.
Second.
Okay, questions or comments, concerns? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, and so we do not have any public comment tonight. So let's move on to personnel. Dr. Deschamps?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Smith. Appreciate it. So there's three things on the agenda for personnel. One of them is we're asking you to accept the resignation of Philip Thorpe at WAMS as the instrumental music and band director there. He has done 35 years of service for the district. And I understand that he is going to, I know him a little bit. I know he has a great DJ voice. And I'd go over to Wham's in the morning and he's doing the announcements and playing some music and getting the vibe and the feel going and for the school. And I know Mr. DeAngelis, we're right now in the process of interviewing for his position. And I know he's going to be missed, but we do appreciate his 35 years of service to the district. We have an appointment for the coaching staff, homebound instructor, and summer maintenance. And then we'd like to recommend two individuals right now, one being for elementary education. She would be going out to Maui. Her name is Jerica Mora. We've interviewed her and just this week we did she came back for a second round and did a teaching interview with us with some follow-up questions also. She, I think, is going to make a great addition out to Maui. And the other individual would be Brianna Sill. Brianna's coming to us from Illinois. She is interviewed for the biology position at Washes. I think she has relatives and connections to the area here and will be moving back, obviously, but she has accepted pending board approval. And we felt that in interviewing her, we would not be missing a step whatsoever. She's coming with a great deal of experience, as well as a real focus on relationships with our learners. So we think we're getting two quality individuals here with these recommendations.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the motion is to approve the personnel as listed. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
I just want to express my deepest appreciation to Philip Thorpe. All three of my daughters had him in middle school band, as well as my grandson. Plus, I've gotten to know Philip Thorpe through our church affiliation over the years, and he is going to be sorely missed. I hope we can find someone, nearly as good. I don't think we'll find somebody that good, because he has just been a fabulous middle school band director for those 35 years. So
You're gonna have to register me as an abstainer.
Okay.
May I say one other thing? I believe the elementary school
Right.
teacher is
That's okay.
replacing Marcy Shea.
That's
Marcy
correct,
has
Mrs.
been-
Zimmerman. Yes, that's correct. So that's not in
Um,
addition.
Can you hear
to
me?
position- Yeah,
And so Marcy has been with our district for many, many years. And through her teaching my children, I have learned to know her very well. She is also going to be sorely missed in our district.
Yes. Thank you.
Mr. Smith,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hamburger has abstained. Should I do a roll call vote for this just to verify everyone's vote?
Sure, yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead through it. Mrs. Zimmerman,
Yay.
Mrs. Straight,
Yes.
Dr. Royer. Mr. Marvin,
Yes.
Mr. Hamburger,
Abstain.
Mrs. Miles,
yes,
Mrs. Fortney,
Yes.
Mr. Pence. Mr. Pence,
Yay.
Mr. Smith.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So that motion carries. Thank you. And I had a daughter who had both Mr. Thorpe and Mrs. Shea, and they are
Yay.
Waynesboro legends. So they will be missed.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. Next, we move to the iReady Math program for grades K through 5. Oh, yes. Before we move there, Mr. Hamburger, you abstain. I think we have to get an explanation as to why you abstain.
There's an ethical and a potential conflict if I vote on anything with the music.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So we move on to the iReady Math program. Dr. Deshawn, is that you?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah, I pull this mic down. I don't think I need the mic.
Mhm.
You hear me. I don't know if I'm talking loud, I don't want to talk too loud, or if I'm talking loud, it's not because I'm angry or upset. I'm just talking loud because I don't know how you guys are picking me up here. So hey, yeah, so we're seeking for the board approval for iReady Math. We've talked, we've been investigating math over the past year, and I know the district was doing so prior to that, and had desire to do that and move forward with something different or investigate math. And I think we did a fairly thorough job of this past year, vetting a number of resources, looking at our instructional practices. There were 2 board presentations also that were presented here in the past 2 months or 3 months or so. We're asking for your approval to move forward with the iReady Math classroom.
Okay. All right. So, yep, we have I think I heard did I hear a first?
Mr.
someone-
Hamburger made a motion.
Okay.
This is what you want. This is what you need. Let's do it.
Yes. Do we have a second?
Mrs. Miles just made a second.
Okay. And we're going to do a roll call vote.
Okay, Mrs. Zimmerman? Mrs. Zimmerman,
Yes, I'm here.
do you vote yay or nay?
Yay. Oh, well, I'd like to ask for an explanation before the vote, though, please. Or this exclamation could be after the vote, if you'd like. I'd just like this to be in the minutes.
Mrs.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
Okay. So before we do the roll call, are there any questions or comments?
Okay, my question for Dr. DeShong is, we've been talking about math in the elementary school ever since I've been in the school board. So this is the 5th year. However, this is an expensive program. Um, I I believe I know the answer to this, but I'd like it to be reflected in the minutes why we need to change to this program, or what are the benefits of doing this?
Sure, yeah, so I can chime in with that. So again, I know that the district has been looking at, considering different things over the past few years, and we've tried some different things or tried some different programs to support the everyday math, which has been our core resource for several years. And as we sat down to just look at our math scores at the elementary level from K through 5, our scores have been relatively pretty stagnant. We're hovering right around or right below the state average, which I don't think the state average is great either, but it's hovering right around the 40% range when you look at our scores over the past 10 years. You could look at a number of variables of why that is the case. One of them could be the core resource. One of them could be our instructional practices. So there's a one year there was a test change for the PSSAs. So when we're not just looking at one data point either, but we're looking at it over time. But when you look across our elementary scores, our distinguished are dropping, our red below basic is going up, and our below basic and proficient is hovering right around the midline there, just kind of like little blips here and there. So in our discussions about all this, we've the other thing too, Mrs. Zimmerman, is when you look at everyday math, and every core resource has various twists to them, you're still teaching state standards. Some are more aligned to state standards. Everyday math is kind of a spiraling program. So when you look at a spiraling program, you get a new concept and you don't spend lots of time on that concept. You do it, then the next day you learn another concept, and it spirals. It keeps coming up over time. The one thing about iReady and some other programs too is it spirals, but you're still spending time on a concept potentially for 2 to 5 days in a week. So depending on the concept, you're spending more time on it. The other thing that we really liked about iReady, because we vetted a number of resources, Eureka being one, Bridges being one. We looked at the new everyday math program. We used edreports.gov. It's interestingly enough, iReady came out. It's one of the first resources, core resources, that actually had perfect scores across the board. Based on our team and actually other people that are using it, our visits and conversations with other folks. I know Southwestern uses it, Hanover's using it right now. School I used to teach at, Juniata Valley, is using it, K-8. We looked at Governor Mifflin. I believe there's Washington County actually is using it just south of us here. But it's probably one of the more comprehensive core resources that I've seen in quite a while, where it does include a diagnostic, it has a technology piece, it has a fluency piece built in, it has the student materials, the consumables, all that is baked in. And now the cost for the first 3 years, it seems like it's higher, but I want to talk about that briefly. Also baked into that cost is the professional learning that occurs and happens over those 3 years. So we want to make sure we're getting this up off the ground running and doing a good job with it. So we're bringing in the professionals who develop this program to come in and work alongside us over the next 3 years. It's a little bit stronger in the first year, a little bit backed off in the second year, and then we get less in the third year. But nonetheless, we receive professional learning throughout from iReady consultants who are coming in. So again, back to that comprehensive program where you have a diagnostic built in, you have data reports built in, you have the resources built in, you have a path built in, you have all that stuff built in. So when you look at it over 3 years, you're looking at around 115 in those first 3 years. Now, individually, to do it year to year, it's about 94. So if we did just 1 year by 1 year in 3 years, you're looking at around 200. It's around 3 to do that. But what we did is The other thing is the teacher editions are a little bit more costly, as well as those licenses for the tech piece. They do 1 to 25, okay? And we have more teachers than 1 to 25. So we're having to get more of those teacher editions as well as the tech license, because we have more teachers than the 125 ratio. But I want to put it into perspective a little bit numbers wise, all right? So right now we're at about 55 to 60 grand for everyday math just to sustain, all right? And that seems like that's really good. That's a low cost. It's lower than 115. But with everyday math, we're also using Acadience Math, which is a testing diagnostic kind of thing. So throw about 15 grand on top of that 60. So now we're looking at about 75. We also are using Study Island, which comes out to be about 20 grand per year. So you throw that on top of that, all right? So the numbers start adding up. It's right around 100 to 115. So we're really kind of almost breaking even. Whereas when you have the iReady at 115, it's all kind of baked in there without getting these additional things. I also want to comment too. We aren't using ExactPath anymore, but when we did have ExactPath was 50 grand a year, and that was with everyday math. Then folks were wanting to use Get More Math. When you're talking Get More Math, we're looking at about, it's an $18 license per kid. We're looking at about 35 grand. So when you have all these additional things and you do the math, it really adds up. So over time, really, iReady isn't as expensive as it seems at the, this stickers. But when you do the math over time, we're actually spending less money over time without getting these other additional things. So when we're looking at this, again, it has the fluency component, it has the diagnostic component, it has the technology, it has all those things already, it has the intervention pieces baked in, it has the path into that already, without having to get that from another resource. So that makes sense. So with that all being said, I think that's why, and Dr. Sternheim can certainly chime in because she has history also, with the math path, we've kind of been on too. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Dr. Deshawn or Dr. Sternheim? Okay.
No, I'm good.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you, Dr. Deshawn.
Okay, so now let's go ahead to
Thank you
vote.
as well. Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead to our vote. We do a roll call.
Mrs. Zimmerman,
Yes.
Mrs. Straight,
Yes.
Dr. Royer. Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Marvin,
Yes.
Mr. Hamburger,
Yes.
Mrs. Miles,
Yes.
Mrs. Sportney,
Yes.
Mr. Pence.
No.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pence.
Nay.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I just didn't hear you.
We did not win it.
Okay, is that everyone?
That's
Okay.
everyone.
All right, thank you. All right, motion carries. All right, now we move to, are there any comments from Clayton Cabinet?
No, I was just going to clarify that Dr. Holtzman is meeting at the middle school about the middle school project, so that's why he's not in attendance.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from any of the board members?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the concerns I had is that if it seems that our math scores went down and the solution was change change whatever the program was instead of looking for the root cause. Also, it would be nice to have a budget for these types of big changes. That way the public can see like how much money we're spending on substitute teachers, extra dollars for, money that's going, like hourly wages that are going to being in meetings and things like that. I think that would be really good for the public to see.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any other comments from the board? Board comments? All righty. Well, we will adjourn. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Right? Thanks to everyone for being here, doing whatever you had to do to be here. We really appreciate it. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day and a good weekend upcoming.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.